Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Red Sky Pods. We're just going to have a quick chat about the game tonight, Liverpool versus Leipzig, or rather Leipzig versus Liverpool in neutral territory. We'll have a quick chat about the team and get the thoughts from the panel. Joining me tonight are Ian Young, Dave Powell, Dave Cole, Alex Lumley, and Jay. Okay, Jay's the new guy, not been with us before, so welcome to Jay. Sure you enjoy yourself. Give us some of your insight. So without further ado, guys, let's have a look at the team. In goal, Alisson. Back four, Trent, Robbo, Kabak, Phillips. Into a midfield three for Fabinho, Gini, Thiago. And the front three, only Bobby missing for the usual suspects. So it's Salah, Mane and Jota. So I'll start with you, Jay. Thoughts on the team, please, mate?
To be fair, I've been yearning for Fabinho to step into that midfield. I think we discussed it in the chat the other day, guys. As soon as he got in there and came on the weekend, it was that little bit of bite there that we were looking for, a little bit of intent there. And, you know, it's been much needed over the last couple of games. It's frustrating to see the team in the state that it's in. But I really, really think tonight is a positive and we can go out and finish the job off and get through to the next round. And hopefully a way forward to the final. Wouldn't that be great?
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely would. Good evening, Alex. Over to
Good
you,
evening.
mate. Just get your thoughts on the team. What do you think of the lineup?
Well, firstly, Jay, loving the enthusiasm because I need some of that, to be honest. And to be fair, looking at that lineup, and I'm sure Pauli will agree with me, I was in the same sort of mindset as Pauli regarding Fabinho ever playing in midfield again for the rest of the season. So it is actually quite refreshing to see him in there. So a lot more confident going into tonight. I'll be honest, I was a little bit nervous based on what's happened previously. But yeah, really excited to see those three in midfield. I think for Wijnaldum as well, just having a look at him in the Fulham game, I think where he's been a little bit deeper, I think he's probably been looking behind him a little bit more at the two centre halves and then been a little bit deeper. Therefore, he's not able to get to the press as quick as he'd like. You know, you look at a couple of times where Fulham got in, and I think Fabinho is a very good reader of the game, whether he plays centre half or in midfield. And I think the way that Leipzig play, I think it's going to be perfect for us to snuff them out early doors. Hopefully, try and get them off the press and get the ball, and then nick it in good areas to attack. So yeah, really, really confident now after seeing that lineup. So yeah, very happy, Steve. Very happy. Good
stuff. Rather than just going to you other guys and getting you to kind of repeat the same things, because I'm sure we all would. Dave Kong, just coming to you, mate. Bobby misses out tonight and Jota plays. What does that mean for our front three, and what are you expecting from them?
How can you put it? Bobby's been a bit hit and miss. You know, Jota, before he went out injured, he gave us a hell of something different, didn't he? You know, although Bobby was the glue, maybe, you know, he'd been in training and, you know, getting more used to how they were before he went off injured now with Jota. So hopefully he gives us that bit of fresh impetus, doesn't he? You know, a bit more drive, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. An interesting front three, that is. It's a very mobile front three, isn't it? Which is, you kind of want to see that all of those three guys are going to want to run in behind, whereas Bobby tends to sit a little bit deeper and be, as you say, be the glue. So those boys who made all the mistakes for Leipzig in the previous game better be on their games tonight, because you've got three exponents of mistakes there, absolutely. Just drop into the midfield, Mr. Dave Powell, if I can touch base with you on the midfield. An interesting three, Naby Keita on the bench. Why do you think that is? Why do you think he's gone for the three he's gone for?
We're tuning up, Steve. We're tuning up and we're at home. So we've got 2 away goals. Leipzig got to do all the running. I'm not saying that we will sit in completely, because I don't think that's necessarily in our style. But I do think that we are primarily, some people won't like me for saying this, but we are primarily set up as a counter-attacking, counter-pressing team, either short or long counter-attack. So, I think that midfield allows us to do that, hopefully. Get some control of the football. And hit with those, you're absolutely right, those front three really mobile. I see a lot of interchange in between those three throughout the evening. Certainly I probably see that those front three, 2 going long and 1 coming short looking for the ball, and then when he gets the ball, turn and get on the half turn and get at people, try and expose people. So I see the midfield doing a lot more what we would expect from them in terms of protecting our back four and recycling the ball quickly to the front men.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. And obviously that just leaves us with the back four to talk about. And as Ian, you're the only one who hasn't had anything to say yet. I'll bestow that pleasure on you, my friend. There was a little bit on the back four.
I think the inclusion of Fabinho lets us be more attacking wise down the wings now, because Fabinho will cover the position a lot better. Genie as well. Genie will do the covering there when needed. I know you're asking about the back four, but I'm hoping the shackles are took off Thiago a little bit today. I think he's been, let's just say, he's not been able to play his normal game, and hopefully he'll be able to today. But I'm hoping we get top performances tonight from Spence and Robbo, because I think that's what Fabinho will bring us. I think it also brings a bit more, if you feel how confident we are, because Fabinho's in the team, I'm pretty sure the rest of the Liverpool team will be feeling that way as well.
I should have rephrased that. Ian, tell us about the whole team there. She can't really.
Yeah.
For me, I think we played tonight with an element of caution. I think being 2-0 up, as Dave pointed out before, and it is the home leg, so the away goal does count, even though we're playing Hungary. It sort of feel a bit weird being a home team there, won't it? I think Leipzig have won 8 games on the spin in their league, so their confidence is high. They're 2 points behind Bayern Munich, and they genuinely see themselves in running to the Bundesliga. They will know our weaknesses. They will know what's been happening to us. I expect them to start really quick from the off, because an early goal, if you're their manager, you're telling that team, you get a goal in the first 10 minutes. This Liverpool side have folded in recent weeks. So the challenge for us as a team with that lineup for me is to repel that. And with the front three, as we've said before, we've got plenty of mobility and plenty of pace to get them down. So it's going to be quite an intriguing game. What are we expecting from Leipzig? Lummers, what do you think they're going to do today? I think they'll start quick. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think we may see sort of a similar style of play like Chelsea did against us at Anfield, playing a lot of sort of 1-2 touch football from the keeper just to try and break the press, and then aim to get in behind that way. They did it at the away tie. To say that it worked a few times, and just watching just a few things on them today, I think they're going to have that game plan of trying to play quickly in their own defensive third, just to get out and then try and get through us, either side of the full-backs and in behind. They play a 3-4-1-2, very transitional into a 3-4-3. So I think we're going to see a couple of situations like we did against Chelsea, and I think with the midfield three we got there, I think we look more equipped to sort of nullify that a lot more. So yeah, I'm expecting high tempo, a lot of energy from them, quick combination play, and I do think they'll be quite direct with it, and they'll probably set the tone early on, like you said.
Just with you, Jay, now, just looking at the lineup we've gone there, take the front three out of the equation just for the question I'm going to ask you. Do you think the back four and the middle three suggests we're going to be patient tonight, that we don't need to go in search of the game, that we can allow Leipzig to come on to us and do what we do well? Do you think Klopp's picked a patient team defensively, Jay?
I totally agree. I mean, if you're looking at Fabinho and Ginny in the double pivot roles, that's going to allow Trent and Robbo to get forward and push their wing backs back to try and pin them back in their own half. That's going to allow us to dictate the game with Thiago in there and control the game and get as much ball, as Pauli said. I think that's going to be the key thing. As long as we can retain the ball, they've got to come out and attack us. We're in the driving seat, we're in the box seat, and then allow us to punch the ball into the forwards a lot quicker and actually expose their back line. Because as we found, their back line is full of mistakes. Since obviously Upamecano's confirmed his move to Bayern, he doesn't look like the player that everybody's touting him to be. So I'm happy we dodged that bullet, because we were kind of in for him, and he doesn't look like he could have done the job for us. With respect to our back four, does he look better than anybody we've brought in? I'd hazard a guess over the games I've seen him. No. So there is chinks in that armour. And as we've done prior to this little dip that we've had, we've been extremely good when we're playing our best football at getting that ball quickly into our forward line, catching their team in high areas and allowing us to really dictate the pace of the game. And do I think that Leipzig can go toe-to-toe with us? Yeah, they probably can. But ultimately, we've got 2 goals. So it's going to be down to them to really, really come on to us and actually make an effort to try and open us up. And as we know, if you leave gaps, the likes of Salah, Mane, and even Jota, as we found before the injury, will exploit those gaps.
Perfect response. Dave Combs, you think Liverpool will play with a much more intense press and counter press today? Because having seen the first game, you know, when you put Leipzig under pressure, they surrendered the ball quite quickly, and we got goals from that. So do you see there being a bit more of a press than we've seen in recent weeks tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Because you've got Fabinho obviously shielding the defence, which will give them more protection. Because this is the first time Klopp's done it, isn't it? You know, I think the penny may have dropped, whereas he feels more confident to be able to do it now. Fabinho protecting the defence, dropping back as he does, cleaning it all up, you know, mopping up at the back and the defensive midfield bit, and it gives Thiago, you know, the ability, which we all know he's got, to pick the passes to enable the front three to basically run riot. You know, I think it can only be a massive positive thing for me. You know, I think we might see more of Thiago now, how he gained a reputation as a world-class player.
Yeah, totally.
Just on the fullbacks, Dave Powell, when we play with the 2 recycling midfielders in Henderson and Ronaldo, and you and I have discussed this many times before, that gives Trent and Robbo the ability to get on beyond them, because when it breaks down quickly, they just drop in the pockets left behind and almost become makeshift defenders, if you like. With Thiago in the midfield, do you think that changes tonight? Do you think whichever side Thiago plays on, whether it be the right or the left, we'll see less from that fullback in terms of going forward because he's not Henderson, or he's playing on Gini's side, Gini isn't there? Do you think that will have an effect on how effective one of the fullbacks will be?
Yeah, I mean, the sensible answer to that is to say that fullback should stay at home a bit more. And the reason for that is that it's not that Thiago won't do it; he's just not as diligent in doing it as Gini Wijnaldum or Jordan Henderson. And I don't know. I don't know if it's a lack of concentration or what really. I think it's probably because he's been used to playing in a slightly different formation at Bayern, and he's been used to playing a lot more centrally in terms of a midfield 3 or 4, however it has been set up. So I think that, yeah, the sensible answer, Steve, is that a fullback should stay at home on that side, because otherwise you're going to find yourself with an issue. He has done it in games, Thiago. He has done it, but he won't do it for however long he's on the pitch. He'll do it 5 or 6 times and then he'll switch off. Whereas
to be fair,
or Jordan Henderson don't.
And to be fair, you wouldn't want a player with that ability on the ball to be doing that role anyway, would you?
Absolutely not. No, I mean, I'm also hopeful that that Gini allows himself to drive a little bit more, but from a slightly higher position, because I think when he drives with the boys, he can, as we've seen, I think he can make a difference.
Absolutely. Ian, talk to me about the front three. We've over the season talked about putting these 3 together when Bobby came out of form, and it looked like Johnson might take his place off for a little while. Bobby responded, and then Johnson got injured. Bobby got the cigar out again, and there was no real threat to his position. I think we saw that in his performances. So we've got the 3 guys that lots of people have been shouting for. Talk to me about the front 3, please, Ian. What are you expecting tonight?
Well, I think Jota makes different runs to Bobby. I think Bobby comes in and comes as deep as you can do as a number 9. Jota doesn't do that. Jota tries to run the line a bit more, and he's a bit cuter with his runs, I think. He won't come as deep for the ball. So inevitably you've got more people up top. Sometimes Firmino's game can lessen the amount of numbers we've got up top. Jota's got so much more pace as well than Bobby. I think he's a bit more intense than Bobby. Bobby used to be as intense as Jota, but that intense press he used to give us just doesn't seem to be there, and hasn't been there for 18 months. It's not something that's recently gone. It went a good while ago. I'm excited to see these front three now. I'm excited to see a bit of pace. I'm excited to see something different.
Perfect. I'm in agreement with you. I think Jota's actually a better natural goal scorer than Bobby. Put him in positions where he's got the goalkeeper to beat. He's already shown us already that he knows where the back of the net is, and some of the misses that Bobby's given us over the last few weeks beg a belief. Not to do a discredit to Bobby, because he's been absolutely tremendous for the Liverpool Football Club, and we owe that guy a massive debt of gratitude. What we've got up front tonight is as mobile a front three as you'll see in Europe at the moment. In terms of those three, they've all got pace, they're all direct, they're all there, they all make intelligent runs, and I think, as Dave Powell said earlier, I think we'll see a bit of interchange, which is really nice. It doesn't really work for Bobby to interchange, because all three of those guys can isolate an Angelino out wide and beat him. And I don't think Bobby's got that in his game at the moment, so it'd be nice to see. So next point to bring up, and I've just touched base with you on this, Jay. This isn't a Premier League game. This is an escape from the horrors of the Premier League for Liverpool at the moment. Psychologically, I think that makes a bit of a difference. What's your view on that?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's a welcome break away from sort of the pressures which we've been experiencing in the Premier League. You know, teams, a lot of rival fans are throwing around, you know, clickbait statements, worst champions ever. We only won it because it was COVID. You know, just the usual things. But from my perspective, you know, we've been consistent for nearly 4 years. We've been a dominant force. The only thing that stood in our way is a dominant Manchester City. And with the embarrassment of riches which they've got, you kind of expect them to put in the results which they have. You know, they've almost got 2 international players to every single position on the park, where at the moment Liverpool are in a position where we don't have that luxury. Now, I'm not for 1 minute indicating or throwing any shade or hate towards Manchester City. Ultimately, it's a competition, and you'll work within your means to try and achieve the best that you can achieve. But I won't stand there and let any rival fan tell me that my club has not been consistent for 4 years. Now, the cycle of a team is normally 4 years. So we're in a position where we do need a slight refresh. I think Jota brought that refresh that we needed before we got injured. The front three were playing with more pace, more energy. When he was really chomping for his starting place, he then came into the team. He gave us goals, he gave us energy. Like Ian said, he brought something very, very different to the team. Now I'm hoping to see that tonight, because the shackles are almost off. We're 2-0 up. We should be home and dry, 2 away goals. So I really, really think now that the boys are going to play with a bit of freedom. You saw it in the first leg, and then the game after, I think, was a Sheffield game. You know, so we are showing that after the European ties, we can then kick on in the league. And I really, really hope this time it forms a base for what we can do going forward, and actually try and push our way back into the reckoning for a top four place. Now my head's saying that it's gone, and it's sewn up with a top 4, but my heart's saying that, you know, maybe we can sneak in, or better still, we do what we did in 2005 when all the cards were stacked against us and we went on and won the Champions League. How great would that be?
That would be an absolutely Liverpool thing to do, wouldn't it? Lose 6 league games at home, then go and win the Champions League, wouldn't it? You know,
That's it.
That's why some of them have got no hair, some of us have got grey hair, because we sit and watch this team, isn't it? Apparently, you're a Jota fan. From the conversation we had early on in the season, you likened the loss of Jota to the loss of Van Dijk in terms of what it meant to the football club. How pleased are you to have him back, mate?
Yeah, good, because I think he does give you something slightly different. He takes a few risks because he's quite brave, and he'll go and pick the ball up a bit deeper and then drive at people. And sometimes it will look a little bit clumsy. He's not a clumsy footballer, but sometimes it will look a bit clumsy because he ends up running into traffic and there's nowhere for him to go. And and he ends up losing the ball. Whereas other players might play it a bit safe and nothing comes of that. But I think he scores all different types of goals. He'll get one-on-ones, he'll get headers, he'll get a tap in from a yard, he'll get a worldy strike from 20 yards. So I think he just brings us. I think you used the word earlier, Steve. Just brings a lot more fluidity to the front three. And listen, no one has been a bigger fan, as I think all of you know, of Bobby Firmino than me. I thought he was absolutely pivotal to everything that we did. But, his time is not at the moment, and it needed a change. I mean, he's not even made the subs bench. I'm guessing he's crocked. Jota, he had a fantastic start, and let's hope he can kick on and give us the same for the rest of the season. That'd be brilliant.
So, just coming away from the start of 11, Dave Cong, Oxlade-Chamberlain on the bench again as we try another midfield combination. What's that boy got to be thinking? And how do you see next season panning out for Chamberlain if it is at Liverpool or likely to be elsewhere? What's your view on the Ox?
He's a very talented player. He's got all sorts of different stuff that other players can't do. And when he gets the chance, he's got to take it. He's come on a few times in previous games. I think he started to score a few goals before he got that other injury. And he's got to take the chances, and he's got to put the ball in the back of the net. That's the only time or chance that he's going to get is to turn, the gaffer's head. And he's got to take them chances, and that's it, pure and simple, because if he don't, it'll be the same thing as Keita. You've got to take the chances when they come in, and if they don't, he won't be there for very long. And that's, when you look at the whole picture, they've got to justify the wages. Obviously, that's something that the agent sorts out with the club and everything else, but they've got to take the chances when they get it, otherwise they won't be there for very long.
That's fair enough. Lummer's on the same subject. You're Oxlade-Chamberlain, you're sort of 27, 28 years old, you've had the big move to Liverpool, you're flying, one of the first names on the team sheet, and a devastating injury. In recent months when he's played, I've seen a 60-yard Hollywood ball straight to their right or left back, and then he gets the hook straight away from the manager. Realistically, do you see Oxlade-Chamberlain having a long career at Liverpool beyond the end of this season? Or, for the good of the player and for what he is, where he is there a possibility that he himself might seek a move?
Quite possibly, yeah. I think it might go that way, to be honest with you. Because, the chances that and the times that he does come on, he's got to set the turf on fire in his performance. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen for him. Unfortunately, we all think he's a great player, I think, but he has got to do it when he gets his chance. Sadly, otherwise, like you say, he's getting to that age now where he needs first-team football. But in order for him to, how can you put it, for him to take advantage of it, he's got to do the business on the pitch when he gets the chance.
Absolutely agree. So before we close, because this is a 25-minute show, I want you guys to go and get comfortable for the game. Just overall, simple yes or no answer. Ian, are you feeling good about tonight?
Yes.
You are, like positivity. Jay?
We're gonna.
How are you feeling about tonight, mate?
It's in the bag tonight, pal. It's in the bag tonight.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no other team that can be as bad as we are in the Premier League, and then it comes to the Champions League. There's no other team that can switch it and the way that we can. So I am all for us tonight. I really am.
Good, man. I'm loving the positivity, boys. Bowley?
Yeah, I wasn't keen after Sunday, and I wasn't, but I'm full of beans tonight. I've had a few days to get over that, and I fully expect. I mean, I'm not predicting, but I fully expect us to win the overall tie by 4 goals in the end.
I thought you said full of beer there, Dave.
Wrong, Dave.
That's what he did say. You heard right.
Mr. Kong, we'll finish with you. How are you feeling about tonight, fella?
For me, I think we're going to ruin these tonight. He's gone with positivity with his selection tonight, Kloppo. He's put Fabinho in at the back. He's getting Thiago pulling the strings, and we're going to ruin these tonight. It's going to be good old Liverpool back to take Europe by storm tonight.
Do you know what? They need to play that thing there. You just said needs to be played on a big telly in the changing room, because that doesn't motivate the players to go out and do the business. Nothing will. I think it's a strong team tonight. I think Fabinho will sit really deep because of the fact that we've got two relatively inexperienced centre halves in terms of our football club. So I think he'll be kind of tasked with looking after them to some degree, especially early on. But I'm feeling positive, and that's hard to say in current run of form, isn't it? It's hard to say that we feel positive because they're not giving us much to work with in recent weeks. So keep an eye on the Twitter feed, guys, for the after-match show. If it goes to extra time with penalties, it may not occur because it could be nearly midnight by the time that happens. So keep your eye on things, and the Twitter feed will tell you what time the show is coming on. So everyone enjoy the game. Go get yourselves a beer if you haven't already got one, just a pop. And take it easy, guys, and enjoy the match.
Cheers, boys.
See you soon.
Take care, pal.
Cheers, fellas.
Guys.
Take care.
Cheers.
Bye bye.